This one tool helped me be way more productive than any plugin, any software, and any meds. I have spent way too much money on cameras, on lenses, on studio time, driving to location, all sorts of other things. And somehow, the thing that is keeping me organized, productive, sane is these heckin' notebooks. It's not only made me more productive, but it's also helped me stay a lot more organized. And look, I'm not doing this because I think it's aesthetic or vibey. I've got pretty bad ADHD. I'm really good at managing it, or at least I like telling myself that. But like, my handwriting is like chicken scratch. Like I'll show some close-ups of some of my work on here. But realistically, this kind of really just keeps me from getting lost. One of the struggles I see with very young editors or beginner editors, the edits usually start off really strong. You have a really good beginning. For some reason, as they go along and they progress, they kind of lose sight of what it is that they were trying to do, what the story they were trying to tell is. Didn't necessarily have a sense of where they were going. And by the end, it's kind of falling apart. One of the reasons why I'm a big supporter of having a physical notebook like on your desk while you're editing is it kind of keeps you grounded and it can help you organize your thoughts when you're receiving feedback. Like, let's just say you're working on an edit for a client, or you're working on an edit for your friend, or on the phone or in person with someone. It's a lot easier to remember what it is that the person was telling you if you write it down. Not only that, you don't just have to write down like notes. For example, one of the things I like to add whenever I edit like very long projects or bigger projects is I like color coding my footage. Okay, I like coming up with a key for whenever I work on a project, and different types of footage will have different colors. That way, while I'm going through and and they're asking me, oh, where's the artist's interview? Oh, which one? Oh, this one. Oh, that's blue, that's cerulean. Okay, boom, boom, boom. And since I'm the one editing or operating, that could also help you kind of limit yourself, because especially if you're going in and you're over editing, you're adding too much, you make your cut too long or you make it too short, you could give yourself like an outline, you can give yourself like a baseline. You could even do a paper edit where you go in and you put in, even if you don't like write it out, you could print out like, the dialogue and stuff and go in and start putting things and seeing how it looks or how it feels, moving it around. There's all sorts of things you could do by just having it on a notebook. Realistically, a lot of cuts aren't bad because of a lack of skill. Usually, edits are bad because you lose sight of what it is that you're trying to do. One of the great things about software these days, there's such a low barrier of entry. There's DaVinci, there's CapCut, Premiere, even Avid Media Composer, or whatever they call it these days. All of these things are great at like letting you edit. They're not very conducive to like thought or creativity per se. Yes, you can be creative through this medium, but it's meant to give you all the tools. You're the one that's supposed to be creative. I touched on this a little bit ago. As for what I personally like putting in my notebook, kind of depends on the project or what it is that I'm doing. At work, I would put in information from meetings. I would put information on what I was doing. For example, we had this one client where we had 6 different videos. We had 2 different versions of each video. I made myself a checklist, put 1 through 6, put 1 through 6A, 1 through 6B, basically check them off as I was going through them. Now, this is on a more commercial level. If you're like on the more creative side, this is where you could be, using colors or talking about how you want the audience to feel. You could be giving yourself references on what type of music you want to be using. You could even give yourself notes on how fast you want the pacing or how slow you want it to be. All sorts of creative notes on there, not just cut here, do this, files are over here, files are over there. It is up to you to make it, help you, make it work for you. Like, for example, let's just say that you're working on a short film and you're like, oh, hey, our intro has to have like this really fast, attention grabbing like B-roll sequence. Another thing that people don't really do is take their time to kind of stop and look, pay attention to what they're doing. Sometimes you just need to stop and watch your edit and try to listen to what it's telling you. Sometimes you just need to look for what is missing, figure out what it is that your story needs. Sometimes you do need to give yourself rules and guidelines. Sometimes writing something down so that you do it and you follow it, because not everybody has that type of discipline. A lot of creatives have ADHD, and sometimes they need to give themselves parameters or rules in order for them to succeed. Not everybody is organized, right? So realistically, yes, your timeline might have like 14 or 15 layers to it. Having it written down, giving yourself timestamps might even just be an easy way for you to help yourself find things, or Tell yourself where your nested sequences are, or tell yourself that, you know, your interview is accidentally under B-roll. Your webcam was panning down to like their hands, so they put it together with the B-roll section because it looked like it was B-roll. But at the end of the day, the point is to keep your notebook honest and telling you what it is that you need to do in order for you to be able to translate that into your editing software. Anywhere that I go, I typically have a notebook in my pocket. Sometimes it could just be random inspiration. Other times it'll just be like, you need some pickup shots, you need to get this. It'd be nice if you could get like an establishing shot or a time lapse of the sunset or something. Look, there's so many different types of notebooks and everybody's workflow is a little bit different. I personally prefer the binder because I can, like I said, I can swap the pages out, take them out, put in brand new ones. Notebooks get full, but it's always nice buying a brand new fresh notebook. This one is literally filled. I didn't know that I missed the last 3 pages. Yeah, I thought I'd finished it. Last day that I wrote on here was 7/2/2025. I was working on something for Jacob. Yeah, we were updating the voiceovers. We did 2 60s, a 30 and a 15. Oh, and then that was from a sizzle reel. Some people like flashcards, index cards, especially when you're doing like storyboarding or movie or a documentary or a short film, or trying to do like an outline. Things like flashcards or even sticky notes, Post-its, a little bit easier to maneuver. Realistically, the system itself doesn't necessarily matter. You just have to find a way to make it work for you. At the end of the day, this isn't magic. This isn't just gonna fix things. This is a habit that you have to make, that you have to create. And you're gonna have to stick with it if it's something that you really want to implement. The main point of this is for you to slow down, not overthink your edits. This is kind of to help you kind of get a little bit more grounded. Look, every app is gonna try to sell you something, some sort of subscription. There's always gonna be another to-do list app. There's gonna be a new calendar app. You know, everybody's gonna try to sell you on whatever productivity hack, life tip, caffeine, Adderall, whatever. There's something cathartic about giving yourself a little to-do list and just physically checking it off. Feels a little bit more old school. In my opinion, I feel like it's worked a lot better and it's made me way more productive, at least in these last 2 to 3 years of my life. And look, I still love, you know, filmmaking. I still love storytelling. And, you know, at the end of the day, I love creating and making stuff. This isn't something that's meant to halt you or keep you from working. I'm not telling you to do this. I'm not telling you to do it the exact way that I do it. All I'm saying is that this helped me, and I hope this can help you too. Hopefully, you know, you guys got a little something out of it. If you do, you know, I feel bad asking for like engagement and stuff, but that'd be great. I wouldn't mind. If not, you know, hit the, you know, this button twice. Yeah, anyways, I'll put my socials up here or whatever if you guys want to follow, support. I'm trying to take this a little bit more seriously. I feel like I've been a little unmotivated lately, so this is kind of me forcing myself to be creative again. I actually just finished reworking my resume. I'm in the middle of reworking my reel and my portfolio, both my photography and cinematography. I want to start producing a bit more. Like, you know, I've got some time on my hands. I think I've got a documentary that I'm working on. You know, if you guys want to be along for the ride and stuff, I'd love to have you guys. All right, bye.